Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Tonight we set sail into the vast, unpredictable waters of the open sea, where danger often lurks beneath the surface, and survival depends on wits as much as strength. Imagine being the captain of a massive cargo ship, navigating a routine route, when suddenly the stillness of the ocean is shattered by an ominous sound, grappling hooks clanking against the hull. A band of ruthless pirates has boarded, armed and ready to seize control. But little do they know, the captain they're up against has more than just a ship to defend. He has a plan. Stay with me as we unravel a high-stakes battle of cunning, courage, and survival on the high seas. Captain Todd navigated the choppy waters off the coast of Somalia, unaware of the peril closing in. Suddenly, the calm was shattered by the unmistakable thud of grappling hooks hitting the ship's side. Pirates, armed and ready for plunder, swiftly boarded the vessel. Little did they know, Captain Todd had a surprising ace up his sleeve. As the pirates advanced, their confidence began to waver when they realized the cargo they sought wasn't what it seemed. Todd had been fearing this moment for a long time. He was well aware that his trading route passed through dangerous territories. His superiors had always assured him not to worry, insisting that attacks and hijackings were a thing of the past. But Todd had never found this reassurance convincing, and now he was finally proven right. He had weapons on board to defend himself, but the last thing he wanted was to turn this into a firefight. He knew that the best plan was to surrender, let the pirates take the boat, and have his superiors deal with it afterward. However, Todd couldn't be sure that these pirates would leave everyone alive either, and he had a duty to protect his crew. Time was ticking away as the men approached the edge of his container ship. Todd had to think quickly and make a decision. Suddenly, he felt a surge of confidence as a plan came to mind, making him smile slightly. He quickly grabbed the microphone and shouted a message over the ship's intercom. He demanded that every crew member go to the cafeteria below deck and inform them that pirates were boarding the ship. After that, he turned off the ship, bringing it to a halt at the mercy of the ocean. He just hoped he had warned the crew in time. The idea of any of them encountering the pirates, getting kidnapped, or worse, horrified him. However, he took solace in knowing that most of the crew was not working on deck at this hour. While all the crew members followed Captain Todd's orders and headed to the cafeteria, the pirates made their way on board. There were 5 of them, armed with old AK-47s and dressed in simple clothing. They did not appear well organized, but their ability to board the ship undetected suggested they had done this before. However, they had never been on a ship this big, not even close. They knew it was impossible to get this massive ship to their harbor and take everything from it. There was simply too much. Under the leadership of Captain Jack, the pirates quickly devised a plan. They aimed to take only the most valuable items, small objects that they could transport and sell for a high price. One crew member suggested calling other pirates for assistance, but Jack quickly shut down the idea. He was unwilling to share the spoils of his hard work, and it wasn't like other pirates were particularly trustworthy. He barely trusted his own crew. To successfully pull this off, they needed to capture some of the crew members. However, the ship was eerily silent. They didn't even hear the motor running anymore. They had noticed an announcement was made earlier, but they had been too busy climbing aboard to understand it. Besides, their grasp of English was far from decent. The pirates decided to split up into 2 groups, one of 2 and the other of 3, to hunt for crew members. They intended to remain quiet, as calling out or threatening the crew might cause them to scatter. It seemed like a fine plan, but what the pirates didn't know was that Captain Todd had been watching them from the moment they stepped onto the ship. Todd never left the control room, where he had a perfect view of their movements. He was pleased to see that they were splitting up. He radioed 2 of his second-in-command officers, instructing them to lock all other crew members inside the cafeteria and then meet him in the control room. Meanwhile, the 2 pirates patrolling the deck grew more unsure by the minute. Both were new to piracy and had never been on a ship of this size before. Inside the control room, Captain Todd and his second-in-command, a veteran sailor named Harris, swiftly devised a plan. Their eyes darted over the ship's blueprint spread across the table. they decided to exploit the ship's intricate layout by setting a trap in the cargo hold. Faint clattering sounds, subtly amplified, would attract the unsuspecting pirates. In the dimly lit cargo hold, Todd's crew worked silently, stringing up cargo nets and installing hidden alarms. They created a non-lethal snare around a strategically chosen crate. The tension was palpable as each crew member understood their role in this high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Outside, the two nervous pirates, Ahmed and Yusuf, clutched their AK-47s tightly as they crept toward the sound, mistaking the clattering for hidden crew members. Peering into the crate, their eyes widened in disbelief at the sight of brand-new smartphones, a stark contrast to the rustic weapons in their hands. Greed momentarily overcame their caution as they forgot their initial mission, mesmerized by the glistening gadgets that promised a fortune beyond their wildest dreams. The lure of the smartphones proved too strong for Ahmed and Yusuf. In a near-delirious state, they began stuffing their pockets with the devices, their minds clouded by visions of wealth. Each phone shimmered under the faint light, pulling them deeper into Todd's carefully orchestrated trap. Their caution drowned in a sea of greed. Perched in his hidden lookout, Captain Todd kept a watchful eye on the two pirates, his hand steady on the trap's control. He observed their every move with the precision of a chess master, calculating the perfect moment to strike. Engrossed in their plunder, the pirates failed to notice the subtle changes around them. With a swift and silent signal, Todd gave the go-ahead. In an instant, the doors to the crate slammed shut, the sound of locking bolts echoing through the hold. Ahmed and Yusuf, caught mid-celebration, were now prisoners of their own greed. Todd's trap had worked flawlessly, the first part of his plan executed to perfection. This success was a vital first victory, but the most dangerous part of their ordeal still lay ahead. Todd moved back to the control room, ensuring all possible communication devices were jammed. His eyes remained fixed on the ship's surveillance monitors, tracking Captain Jack and his remaining crew like a hawk. He analyzed their patterns, predicted their next moves, and prepared to counter them. Gathering his crew once more, Todd spoke in a firm yet calm tone, stressing the importance of stealth. Their survival depended on the element of surprise. In the hushed control room, Todd reached for the radio, his voice low and steady as he contacted the Coast Guard. He relayed their dire situation with the calm of a seasoned captain, detailing the scenario. 2 pirates captured, but the greater threat of Captain Jack and his armed crew remained. His message was methodical, emphasizing the urgency of their need for assistance. Finally, the radio buzzed with the Coast Guard's response. They acknowledged the situation's precariousness and devised an approach plan aiming to board the ship with minimal escalation. Their words brought a glimmer of hope. Pirates, the well-coordinated team, moved with precision, securing the ship and bringing the confrontation to an end. As the Coast Guard cutter approached on the horizon, the crew felt a collective sense of relief. Todd prepared to transfer control to the Coast Guard, who boarded the ship and took the captured pirates into custody, including a dazed Captain Jack. The Coast Guard officers debriefed Todd and his crew, commending them for their resourcefulness and bravery in averting a potential disaster.